ṣe bí ẹni kú káwọ́ ẹni tí ó ṣe dàrú ẹni. Ṣàṣà ènìyàn nífẹ̀ẹ́ ní lẹ́yìn tẹrú tọmọ nífẹ̀ẹ́ ní lójú ẹni. Ọmọ aráyé abániwọ́rọ̀ pa òrí dání wọ́n. Ayé ò fẹ́ ní ìfọ̀rọ̀ orí ẹni ní pé kó yẹ ni. You gotta be strong cause the world is a battlefield. Òjò láyé ó gbé ní lọ bá ò bá mọ̀ wẹ̀. Má ṣe làlà òtọ́ láì bá dé. Tread softly dákun ṣe jẹ́jẹ́. Ilé ayé ogun ni ó gbọ̀gbọ́n. Ẹ̀sùn pẹ̀lẹ́ láyé gbà rẹ̀. Ẹ jẹ́ ká má ṣe jẹ́jẹ́. Tíbi tirẹ̀ látẹ̀lé ayé. Kò má ṣẹ̀dá tó mọ̀ ńlá. Ó jẹ́ ṣe jẹ́jẹ́ ọ̀rẹ́ mi o. Ayé gbẹ̀gẹ́. Inú ẹni ṣàlàmọ̀. A ò mẹ́ni tó fẹ́ ni. Ṣẹ̀rántí a ò mẹ́rin ìjọba ẹ̀wẹ̀kú ẹ̀wẹ̀lẹ̀. Àwọn lọ́jẹ̀ ni wọ́n dìde wọn lájànà kò lè rí inú gbọ́gbé. Àṣenìtàn bá ní ìdàrú ṣálọ̀ máa ráyé. Àwọ̀ fẹ́lẹ́ bòónù kò jẹ́ àríkùn wá ṣe bí. You gotta be wise to survive and keep your sanity. Ọjà ọ̀dájú ní ilé ayé o ní láti mọ̀ ọ́n rà. Àyàgbé ọ̀gẹ̀gẹ̀ tó bá ti lówó ọ̀yàn ń lọ wà lọ́jọ́ ogún dé. Ọwọ́ epo láyé ńlá wọ́n kì í lọ jẹ̀jẹ̀. Alámọ̀ a ò mọ̀nú ẹni ayé yẹ kó rọra ṣe ṣọ́ra ṣọ́ra. Ẹ̀sùn pẹ̀lẹ́ láyé gbà rẹ̀. Ẹ jẹ́ ká má ṣe jẹ́jẹ́ o. Tíbi tirẹ̀ látẹ̀lé ayé. Kò má ṣẹ̀dá tó mọ̀ ńlá. Ó jẹ́ ṣe jẹ́jẹ́ ọ̀rẹ́ mi o. Ayé gbẹ̀gẹ́ o. Inú ẹni ṣàlàmọ̀. A ò mẹ́ni tó fẹ́ ni. Ẹ̀sùn pẹ̀lẹ́ láyé gbà rẹ̀. Ẹ jẹ́ ká má ṣe jẹ́jẹ́. Tíbi tirẹ̀ látẹ̀lé ayé. Kò má ṣẹ̀dá tó mọ̀ ńlá. Ilẹ̀kùn bá jẹ́ ṣe jẹ́jẹ́ ọ̀rẹ́ mi o. Ayé gbẹ̀gẹ́. Inú ẹni ṣàlàmọ̀. A ò mẹ́ni tó fẹ́ ni. Ẹ̀sùn pẹ̀lẹ́ láyé gbà rẹ̀. Ẹ jẹ́ ká má ṣe jẹ́jẹ́. Ọ̀rẹ́ mi tíbi tirẹ̀ látẹ̀lé ayé. Àgbà tó ti ṣe tó mọ̀ ńlá. Yòókù lọ́gbọ́n. Ó jẹ́ ṣe jẹ́jẹ́ ọ̀rẹ́ mi o. Ayé gbẹ̀gẹ́. Inú ẹni ṣàlàmọ̀. A ò mẹ́ni tó fẹ́ ni. Ẹ̀sùn pẹ̀lẹ́ láyé gbà rẹ̀. Ẹ jẹ́ ká má ṣe jẹ́jẹ́. Ikú pàlàmù tí ọ̀rọ̀ ní ọ̀lọ́lọ́gbà ògiri. Àmọ̀ṣẹ̀dá tó wà láyé ló bá jọra ìmọ́lẹ̀. Ó jẹ́ ṣe jẹ́jẹ́ ọ̀rẹ́ mi o. Ayé gbẹ̀gẹ́. Inú ẹni ṣàlàmọ̀.
Evening, my people. Good evening, my people. It's a pleasure to welcome you to another special edition of the Jagbajanti Show. I especially greet you from whatever part of the world you are connecting from. My name is Aki, and I remain your regular host. It's going to be another insightful discussion tonight. And we will be picking up from where we left it last week. We are trying to prep ourselves for the new year ahead. And I mentioned that even though it's just a flip of the calendar, even though it's just the waking up to another day, it presents us with another opportunity to start afresh. You know, it's a blank sheet for you to start writing again. Forget what the mistakes you've made in the previous writings. Here is a blank sheet of paper that is being handed over to you. Start writing again. But this time around, we are trying to, present ourselves with what I can refer to as guides to help us write properly, to help us write something meaningful. And that was why we started last week from, looking at intentional living. And the focus in that discussion was, our value system, value clarification, because that is what will give us that target. That is what will shape our life. That is what will give us that robust view of how we should live. And that is what we will build our decisions making mechanisms around. That is what we filter, every of our moves, every of our decisions, every of our choices. Once we can get that right, that is the bedrock we need to build our life. So that was what we discussed last week. And tonight we will be building on that, and that will, prep us into, the new year. And the focus tonight is to have a global view of our existence and what we will end up as at the end of everything. Because people just live. They live without thinking of what will be their end. They live without thinking of the long-term consequences of what they're doing now. The choices some people made in their youthful days, they never thought about the lasting impact it will have at the tail end of their life. So the focus of the discussion tonight will be on how do we live so that at the end of our life we will have minimal regrets. So that's just to give us a guide of how we want to move tonight. So as you're coming in, please help me invite people to the show. Just send out the link, share it on your platforms, let somebody connect. And you're changing lives just by doing that. So before I proceed, let's bring let's call out the VIP member for tonight. It is strange, you. Okay, it's good to have, somebody fresh, somebody new, someone who hasn't tasted that VIP life before. And tonight is no other person than my brother Emmanuel Makinde. Yes, is the one we are sending to the VIP section tonight. And I will invite my thick ladies, I'm too rush, I'm too fluffy, to come and help me pack him up, and take him to the VIP lounge. Ẹ bá mi bó ara fún wọn. Ẹ bá mi tẹ gbogbo àwọn mọ́sù tó ti àwọn iṣan tó ti lé yẹn. Ẹ bá mi wọ́ gbogbo ẹ̀. Omi inú àgbọn ni kẹ́ lò. Ẹ bá ń fi wọ́ gbogbo ara wọn. Kẹ́ wẹ̀ fún. Kẹ́ bá mi oil ẹ̀ while the show is going on. Right. Shoops, Mukiel, Mr. Smash the love button. Àwọn yẹn wà ní YouTube corner. It's a pleasure to have you on the show. Ẹ̀gbọ́n Mukiye Kaleo, thank you for joining tonight. It's a pleasure to have you on the show as well. Ẹ kú àtàárọ̀. Ẹ̀gbọ́n ọmọ ìyá mi mo kí ẹ o. Bóun gbogbo ẹ o, gbogbo ilé ńkọ́? Ṣé kò rẹra o? Right. My fluffy sister, I greet you, Esther Adiola. It's a pleasure to have you on the show. Thank you for joining as usual. Baraje, just spoil yourself. Spoil yourself rotten. Don't steal body o. Tí o ti ẹjọ́ ta ló ní packaging from the fluffy department? Àwọn náà ni Emmanuel Makinde ni. Ẹ lọ bá mi rap wọn. Yéé pa. Mi ò fẹ́ lo áńgù yẹn lálẹ́. Ṣùpọ̀ báwo lè máa sọ ń po kọ́kọ́ dé? Ó fẹ́ máa gbá mi ni. 901 ló dé. Accurate timekeeper mú ẹ. Ẹni tó dé 9 o'clock sharp. Emmanuel Makinde. So, má lọ lo gbàǹkó fèmí bí o. Right. So, those on YouTube, I greet you. Twitter, Facebook, and the silent listeners, the invisible listeners, everyone wherever you are, and those that will be catching up with the show at some later date, I greet all of you. You're all special to me. Thank you for joining tonight. Right. So let's get straight into the show. O need massage náà. O máa lọ bá àwọn ti Thailand yẹn nígboro, o máa lọ rent wọn ni. Àwọn yẹn ló máa lọ ṣe. Ibi, is strictly on first come, first serve. So lọ sanwó lọ ṣe ń tà. Right. So the discussion for tonight is what I titled, In the End, We Are All Stories. In the end, we are all stories. Many people live for today alone. They act with no care of tomorrow. Wọ́n ń gbélé ayé, wọ́n ń ṣelé ayé bí wọn ò ṣe bá ayé. Some have people call their attention to, their bad behavior. But they don't care. I mean, at that moment, they don't care. They think nothing matters. Tírú wọn bá wá kú tán, when they die, and people come out to talk about them, á wá dàbíi pé wọ́n ń sọ nǹkan burúkú nípa wọn. Then you see family members, friends, relatives, associates trying to gag people, trying to, gaslight people, trying to use all kind of gimmicks, emotional blackmail, some even will go to the extent of using, court injunctions to stop people from talking about them. Some will say, oh, you don't talk about the dead. Forgetting that in the end, we will all become stories. Ìtàn ni gbogbo wa ó padà dà. And the way we live our life today, we are writing our stories. Ìtàn tó o bá sì kọ, òun láyé á kà. What they say about you is simply the story you wrote about yourself. Tó o fi ọwọ́ ara ẹ kọ, òun ni wọ́n ń kà ń pa ẹ̀. In tó o kọ́lẹ̀, in tó o ṣélẹ̀, òun láyé ń sọ. It's so funny. I see, you know, when people act as if they care, when the real sense, they're simply hypocrite. Wọ́n rò pé gbà yẹn ló tọ́ káwọn daṣọ bo ìhòòhò ẹni yẹn. Ìgbà tó ń ṣìwàwù tó ń ṣorí burúkú, wọ́n ọ̀jẹ̀ ọ̀nù ni. Nígbà tó ń kọ̀tán ẹ̀, wọn ò pàkíyèsí ẹ̀ sí. Ìgbà táyé wá fẹ́ wá ka ìtàn tó kọ, ìgbà yẹn ló máa ń rántí wípé wọ́n ń sọ ń pa òkú ọ̀run, respect the dead. But guess what? Àwọn tó fẹ́ sọ ní tá a mọ̀ nípa ẹni yẹn ni wọ́n máa ń pa lẹ́nu mọ́. But people who want to come out and say good things about the person, they don't shut them up. That's where the hypocrisy is. And that is why it is important, especially as we are starting afresh. As life is handing over to us a new opportunity to start again, you must remember that the decisions we make today will determine the stories that get told about us in the future. Ọjọ́ alẹ́ ẹlòmíì korò nítorí pé ó fi ọwọ́ ara rẹ̀ kọ ìtàn burúkú láàárọ̀ ọjọ́. The pain, the suffering that some people are going through at the evening of their life has a lot to do with what they wrote about themselves in the morning of their life. Ilé ẹlòmíì tó dàrú nígbà tó yẹ kó máa nísinmi lọ́jọ́ alẹ́, àárọ̀ ló ti fọwọ́ ara ẹ̀ bàjẹ́. And life gave such people opportunities after opportunities, because ẹni tẹ́mi ẹ̀ bá gùn, ayé ló ń fún ní àǹfààní láti ṣàtúnṣe. When you have a long life, when your life is prolonged, that is life handing you over opportunities to make amends, to rewrite your story, to make things better. But many of us don't take that opportunity. We abuse that privilege until when it is too late. And that's why you see some people, it's on their sick bed that they are asking people for forgiveness. It's on their sick bed that they are telling people, má bínú, ìgbà ìmọ̀ kíní kan, ojú àpá ò lè jojú ara. You had several opportunities to make amends, and some didn't even do it till they passed on. And when it is now the turn of the people that they've hurt to share their testimony, then you have hypocrites rising up to say, má sọ, kò dáa, èèyàn máa ń bo òkú láṣìírí ni, èèyàn ò kí ń sọ nǹkan tí ò dá ń pa òkú ọ̀run, èèyàn ò kí ń, No. That hypocrisy. The only thing that I'm against is when you say things that are not true, because they are not there to defend themselves. But if what you have to say about them, good or bad, is the truth, then you are not doing anything wrong. We are all writing a story with our lives. And whether you like it or not, the story we write will be retold. People that we leave behind will read the stories. You can't change this. It is inevitable. All this packaging that they do, and when you read people's maybe when you attend funerals or whatever, and people come to give eulogies and all these things, and everything you hear is just good things about the person. It is a lie. That is people trying to package the person to be what they are not. There are people within the premises of that event who are bitter. They have stories to tell as well. But at that moment, they got them. They don't want them to talk because they think they will be denting the image of a person. They think they are attacking the legacy of the person. But what is legacy? Legacy is really the story that we wrote ourselves. The story that you wrote with your own hand on the blank sheet that life handed over to you. That is your legacy. Nobody can write this for you. You can only write it yourself. And whatever you write is what people will read, is what people will talk about. After some people pass on, what people are spending their life doing is PR. Setting interviews after interviews, hiring PR firms to package the person. Necessary. Offering prayers for the dead. It is too late. Kò matter mọ́, because the opportunity is gone. It matters only when you are alive, when you are still breathing. The moment you breathe your last, it's finished. Kò sátúnṣe tó fẹ́ ṣe fún ẹ mọ́. O ti fọwọ́ ara ẹ kọ ìtàn ara ẹ. Ojúmọ́ kọ̀ọ̀kan bó ṣe gbé ayé lójúmọ́ kọ̀ọ̀kan ló fi kọ ìtàn ara ẹ. Ìbáṣepọ̀ ẹ pẹ̀lú àwọn èèyàn tó yí ẹ ká, ò ń kọ ìtàn ara ẹ ni. Bó ṣe lo ipò tá a fún ẹ, ò ń kọ ìtàn ara ẹ ni. Bó ṣe ṣètọ́jú àwọn tá a kó sábẹ́ ẹ, ò ń kọ ìtàn ara ẹ ni. Ọ̀gá iléeṣẹ́, àwọn ọmọọṣẹ́ tó ń ṣiṣẹ́ lójoojúmọ́ tó fún lówó iṣẹ́, torí ó fẹ́ ṣòun pé ìwọ ló ń kọ̀ǹtró ayé wọn, ó ń kọ̀ tán ara ẹ̀ ni. Ẹlòmíì á kú gan, wọ́n máa bẹ àwọn èèyàn láti wá sí fúnírà ẹ̀ ni. Because people don't see the need to come. Because kò deserve kí wọ́n wà ń bẹ̀. Bó ṣe gbé ayé tó jẹ́ pé n tó deserve gbà tó kú tán yẹn, ó yẹ kọ́kàn gbé sẹ́gbẹ̀ẹ́ títì ni. Tóòrùn ẹ̀ bá fẹ́ cause epidemic, then kí council wá palẹ̀ ẹ̀ mọ́, kán lọ wábì kan jù sí. Bẹ́lòmíì ṣe lólé ayé tó bá kú tán, kò tiẹ̀ yẹ kó rí èèyàn yọjú láti wá palẹ̀ ẹ̀ mọ́. Your legacy is a story you wrote about yourself. And people are going to talk about it. Every single person that come across you will talk about it. Your children will talk about it. Family members will talk about it. Relatives will talk about it. People you govern over will talk about it. Friends will share memories about you. People who have come across you in one way or the other will talk about you. The lives you have shaped along the way, the lives you have damaged along the way, people you've pulled up, the people you brought down, àwọn tó ṣínà fún, àwọn tó dínà mọ́, ìtàn ló ń kọ o. And the life we live will be the story that gets told about you. That will be your legacy. But here's another fact I must establish. A kì í mọ̀ rìn kórí ó má jì. There's no perfect human. Wàá tẹ àwọn kan mọ́lẹ̀. Wàá kọlu àwọn kan. So ultimately, the story you will write about yourself, your legacy, will not be a perfect one. It will have positive, it will have negative. It could be a combination of both, or it could just be, half-half. Or more positive, less negative, or more negative, less negative. But regardless, you won't have a perfect story. And that's what makes us unique. And this is a fact we must admit, that people will talk about your positive impact, and people will talk about the pain you left on people. When you're no more there, people will either rejoice that you are gone, or people will be sad that they miss your absence. People will either talk about how you added positivity to the world, or they will talk about how you drained life out of people. So if you are not adding, you're taking. If you're not part of the solution, you are part of a problem. But again, your story will be told. And that is why I want to charge us tonight, that make it a story that will inspire people when they read it, when they hear it. Make it a story that will motivate other people, wherever it is told, wherever it is shared. Make it a story that will actually, make people feel, yes, this person lived. má daṣẹ́lẹ̀ fáwọn tó filẹ̀ kọ́ máa bẹ́ẹ̀ sáré káàkiri kọ́ máa bẹ́ẹ̀ wọ́n yẹn ń gbé pépà ilé lọ ilé ẹjọ́ ni wọ́n ń gbé lọ ń pe ilé lẹ́jọ́ ni wọ́n ń fi ọlọ́pàá arrest yẹn nítorí ó sọ̀rọ̀ dádì àwọn ó sọ̀rọ̀ ẹ̀gbọ́n àwọn ó sọ̀rọ̀ kinní kan tó sọ ṣó parọ́ mọ́ wọn ni tó sọ ni ohun tó ṣe ni wọ́n ń sọ náà. Nígbà dádì yín ṣorí burúkú pé bó ṣojú yín ẹ ṣe pé ẹ ṣe kọ́ọ̀lù wọn to order dádì tẹ́ ń ṣe yóò make sense o tí wọ́n bẹ̀rẹ̀ sí sọ gbogbo nǹkan báyìí nípa yín à ní dá sí o ẹ̀ ń borúkọ ara yín jẹ́ nìyẹn o ẹ call wọn to order so wọ́n ṣorí burúkú yẹn to the fullest wọ́n kọ ìwé orí ibú kalẹ̀ ó kún volume 1 volume 2 volume 3 wọ́n kọ dé volume 70. Nígbà táyé wá ń ka ìwé yẹn ń sìn ara wa ń ta yín ẹni wọ́n ń borúkọ ẹbí yín jẹ́ wọ́n ń borúkọ ẹbí yín jẹ́ wọ́n ò bà ẹ̀yin bàbá yín jẹ́ iṣẹ́ tí bàbá yín ṣe ló ń tọ̀ lẹ́yìn. ṣùgbọ́n bí tán bá ti parọ́ mọ́ bàbá yín tán mú ẹ̀rí sílẹ̀ ẹ lè pè wọ́n lẹ́jọ́. But you can't gag people who are saying the truth about you. Ìwọ ni kò seize opportunity yẹn nísìn. Ensure that the story you are going to write from now on is the one that will inspire, that will motivate, and that will change lives. So how are we going to do this? I'm going to split this into 2 parts. I want us to focus on 2 things. How to write an inspiring story. Ní ìwọ̀nba wọ́n bá ṣe wà ní ní agbára ẹ̀. Like I said, we're not perfect beings. So I'm not talking perfection here. And I don't expect anyone to be perfection. But in your imperfect state, how do you write an inspiring story? So I want us to focus on this on 2 headings. Decisions and distractions. Decisions and distractions. Every single day, we are presented with choices. And the one we go for, or the one we go with, is what we consider to be the best out of all the choices. So every single day we have situations that confront us, waiting on us to make decisions. And remember, decision comes with consequences. You can't make a choice and think that is the end of it. No! Ohun gbogbo ló lẹ́yìn. Ohun gbogbo ló lẹ́yìn. So decision starts from looking around you. Ìgbésẹ̀ tí mo fẹ́ gbé yìí, àwọn tó ti gbé ṣáájú mi, ibi tó láǹdì wọn sí rèé, ibi tó láǹdì wọn sí rèé. Kí ni wọ́n ṣe tó fi end up báyìí? Kí lèmi lè ṣe yàtọ̀? And you see some family one generation cause in down lamu. Personally, I've seen enough to know that me believe in a generational cause, generational pattern lower. You don't want something to be repeated in your life. Understand the pattern. Map out these occurrences and be intentional about you doing something different. It is only when you do something different that you will get a different outcome. Oh, lè máa repeat nǹkan tí àwọn aṣáájú ẹ ṣe kó dẹ̀rùn pé báyá tiẹ̀ máa yàtọ̀. Báwo ló fẹ́ yàtọ̀? A different effort will only lead to a different outcome. But when you keep doing the same thing all the time, you'll be getting the same outcome. So look at the decisions that people ahead of you have taken that shape their story in a way that you would not want your story to end like that. What were the principles they violated? Remember, I told you this life is carried, or the pillar that holds this life is the principles. This life is built on principles. And you must understand these principles. So principles wo làwọn yẹn violate in their decision making that shape their life in a way that, you know, a fi ń sọ nǹkan tí ò ṣe é gbọ́ sétí nípa wọn. Kí ni ìdí tán fi ṣe bẹ́ẹ̀? Ṣé àìmọ̀ ni? Ṣé àìbìkítà ni? And this will guide you in, you know, doing yours differently. What are the values some of these people have that help them, you know, to write good stories that people are reading with fond memories? We talked about value clarifications. Your value system must be sound if you intend to live a life of purpose. You can review some of these values and imbibe them in your own life as well. In your decision making, you must not only think of now, you must always think of the long-term impact. Never use short-term measures to take decisions that would have long-term consequences. Máa rántí ọ̀la. Máa rántí nígbà gbogbo pé ọ̀la á béèrè lọ́wọ́ òní o. Máa rántí. Tomorrow we ask questions of today. Kí ló fòní ṣe? And so it's important that when you're making decisions, you think things forward. Don't just think of now. Now pleasure. Adùn ìsìn lọ́pọ̀lọpọ̀ òfin nílé tó tòrò lọ́jọ́ alẹ́. Torí wọ́n balé jẹ́, wọ́n bọ̀nà jẹ́. Wọn ò bìkítà, wọn ò tiẹ̀ rò pé ọjọ́ kan máa dé tó jẹ́ pé á rẹ apá rẹsẹ̀. Wọn ò sinmi lónìí o. Torí adùn àárọ̀ nìkan ni wọ́n rò, wọn ò rò tọjọ́ alẹ́. Lójú ẹ̀mí wọn, ayé wọn dẹ̀ ń bàjẹ́. Láì tí kú wọn, wọ́n ti ń fi ojú rí rẹ́dẹ̀rẹ̀dẹ̀. Unfortunately, they can't go back to go and change things. And that's why I always say, preventive measures cost much more less than the penalties for neglect. Ó bá farabalẹ̀ kó rò kó tó ṣe. Just 1 minute of reconsideration might stop you in your track from taking that reckless step, which might have a long-term, um, terrible consequence, which might bring a lifetime of sorrow for you. Oh, Baro. Don't just let your decision be based only on this, fleeting pursuit of pleasure. Don't let it be solely based on short-term gains alone. Think of long-term consequences. Think things forward. If you find out that long-term problems await you after this short-term pleasure, then stop that decision. Ọ̀pọ̀lọpọ̀ tó kún chọ́ọ̀chì tó ń kún sọjí tó ń torí òkè kan bọ́ sí kan lónìí, ogun ìsìn kọ́ ni wọ́n ń jà, ogun àná ni. And that's why they're seeking miracle, they're seeking somebody to just say, be delivered. Kò rí bẹ́ẹ̀. Kò rí bẹ́ẹ̀, kò sẹ́ni tó lè yọ ogun tó fa àárọ̀ ọjọ́ gbé sínú ayé, o rò pé ṣọ́ọ̀rù ọjọ́ kan ló máa yọ ni. O rò pé àwẹ̀ 7 days ló máa yọ ni. No, you have to go through the full circle. O lè sá fún consequence. No. Gbogbo àwẹ̀ tó ń gbà yẹn o kàn ń fi bí para ẹni. Gbogbo àwọn àdúrà kìíní spiritual gymnastics lásán ló ń ṣe. Ìgbésẹ̀ tó o gbé, ẹrù tó o dì kalẹ̀ wàá gbé. Àwọn tó lọ ń bá yẹn wọ́n kàn ń fowó ẹ̀ jẹun ni. Wọ́n kàn ń tàn ẹ́ ní false hope ni ọjà táwọn ń tà nìyẹn. They are false hope merchants. Business tàwọn nìyẹn. It's better you come to your right senses and understand that yes, ọ̀tá ilé kankan kọ́ ló ń ṣe mí, ọfà kọ́ ló ta mí, èmi ni mo ṣàṣìṣe, èmi ni mo gbégbèsè tí ò yẹ kí n gbé. Consequence ẹ̀ ni mo dem pass through yìí. And when I pass through it and I come to the fullness of it, then I will learn and move on to other things. You can't shortcut it. You can't hide from it. You can't run away from it. Ìlú tó bá fa òjò ní orí ara rẹ̀ ló ń fà lé. Òkò tó sọ mọ́pẹ, òun lọ̀pẹ sọ mọ́ ẹ padà yẹn. So always play it forward. Look at the potential outcomes you will have if you take that decision now. If it's not what you will wish for, then change. Tweak the decision until you get the one that will give you that ending that you desire. Má kàn máa rush, má kàn máa wá àdùn kíákíá. Kò gbàgbé ọ̀la. In your decision making, let doing the right thing be the standard for you. Nílé ayé yìí, ní wọ́n bá ń ṣe nǹkan tó right, ìrìn àjò ẹ̀ máa slow. Let it be slow. Slow and steady da. If you run too fast, you will end too soon. It's good to take those small, little, progressive steps. Kò dẹ̀ nísinmi. Wàá débẹ̀. Wọ́n lásúré tètè ò ní sáré kọjá ilé. bẹ́ẹ̀ náà ni arìngbẹ̀rẹ̀ ò ní sùn sọ́nà. Wàá débẹ̀ kó o dẹ̀ débẹ̀ láì farapa, kó o débẹ̀ with minimal scars, àwọn egbò tí ò pọ̀, ó sàn ju kó o débẹ̀ jákujàku lọ. Choose your battles carefully. Some battles you don't need to fight it. Concede defeat. Just walk away. But wọ́n á sọ ń pọ̀ lẹ́ni ní, jẹ́ kán sọ ń pọ̀ lẹ́ni ẹ̀. O ò gbọ́rọ̀ àwọn Yorùbá ni. Wọ́n ní iwájú ilé ọ̀lẹ ni wọ́n máa ń gbé òkú akin gbà kọjá. Alágbára ni mí, akin ni mí. Nígbà tó bá pa ẹ́, ẹni tẹ́ ẹ pè lọ́lẹ̀ yẹn á dúró síwájú ìta báyìí nígbà tó bá ń gbókú akin tí wọ́n fẹ́ lọ sin. Choose your battles. When you need to hands off, hands off. When you need to shake hands, shake hands. Tó bá tàn ẹ́ wá jà ní tẹ́rìtì tó mọ̀ pé ọmọ mi ní supporting bí, sọ fún wọn pé alágbára ọ̀gá má worry, mo juwọ́lẹ̀ and walk away. Leave to fight another one. Ẹni tó ń pè ẹ́ níjà tó dẹ̀ ń la ẹnu ẹ̀ tó sọ fún ẹ pé I have nothing to lose. Wọ́n ń bárò èèyàn bẹ́ẹ̀ yẹn jà. Wọ́n ń bárò èèyàn bẹ́ẹ̀ yẹn jà nǹkan kan pọ̀. Ẹni títí ẹ ti jóná. Ó máa lọ wá igi ni, á koná mọ́ tiẹ̀ náà ni kí gbogbo ẹjọ́ jóná pọ̀. Ẹni títí ẹ bá ti bàjẹ́ máa ń wọ èèyàn kanra ni. You have to understand all these things and make the right decisions. It's better to go at a slow pace and get to your destination intact than rushing and you don't get there in one piece. Ọ̀pọ̀lọpọ̀ ní ìrìnàjò wọn forí ṣánpọ́n o nítorí wàdùwàdùwàdù, nítorí eré. They're not intentional about their choices. They don't take their time to go over the options available to them again. They are always in a haste, always checking their life against somebody else. Kí láǹfààní eré nígbà tó o mọ ibi tó ń lọ? Of what use is speed without direction? Kò sí bí ọ̀la ẹ ṣe lè dá o when you continuously take wrong decisions. Kò sí bó ṣe fẹ́ kọ ìtàn tó dáa when all your decisions, whether small or big, are wrong. And guess what? We live daily to make decisions. We live daily to pick from choices available to us. And every decision you make sets a foundation for another one that you will build on. Ibi tí ilé ẹlòmíì ti bẹ̀rẹ̀ sí í dagun nìyẹn o. You've made a wrong decision. Stop it. If you have to go back 5 steps to correct it, do that. Ọ̀pọ̀lọpọ̀ irọ́ wọn fẹ́ dọ́gbọ́n sí. Foundation ti wọ́. Ó dẹ̀ ti rí pé ó ti lo kinní yẹn, ó ti dẹ̀gbẹ́ báyìí. Tètè má tún mọ blọ́ọ̀kì míì mọ́ kó wá máa fọwọ́ tì í pé báyà straighten, kò lè straighten The rule of hole says when you are in a hole, you must stop digging. Ó ti wà nínú kòtò báyìí, ó ti jìn sọ́fìn. Má tún gbẹ́lẹ̀ mọ́. That is, stop building, wrong decisions upon wrong decisions. Trying to be clever, trying to find your way out, trying to shortcut the wrong decisions you've made. No, stop. And think, how can I make this right? Okay, I have to go back and correct this from this. Má rojú, because ayé ẹ̀ là ń sọ. Life still give you the opportunity. Go back. Má worry. Don't care about pé wọ́n sọ pé ó padà sẹ́yìn. Má worry, má jí sòro. Ayé ẹ̀ là ń sọ. Torí ìtàn ẹ ni wọ́n máa kà, kì í ṣètàn ẹni yẹn. And if you can go back and correct it and start again, you are inspiring somebody. Somebody that will read that story will be inspired that, tí nǹkan báyìí bá ṣẹlẹ̀, this great man tó tiẹ̀ fi lè padà lọ ṣerú nǹkan báyìí, ta wá lè mi. That's how you point people in the right direction. That's how you inspire people with your life. Because that person will read that story and will say, mo láti padà lọ tún kinní yẹn ṣe. Mo láti padà lọ tún kinní yẹn ṣe. And also in your decision making, remember, every day, life hands you 24 hours in a day. It's like it's like a currency for you to invest. It's like a currency. Owó, pé gbà kó invest. So every day, you are given the opportunity of a fresh investment. How do you invest this? What do you pour yourself into? The opportunities that life gives to you. How do you invest it? How do you invest your time? How do you invest your energy? How do you invest your gift? All these are resources that life gives you. And all these resources are tools for writing your story. They are tools of, telling your stories. They are things that will feature in your stories. They add gloss to your story, or they add pain to you have to use these tools to embellish your stories in the way that you deem fit. How do you do it? How do you use these resources? How do you invest them? How do you use the resources to shape your story? Do you invest in people? Do you invest in yourself, thinking of what tomorrow will be like? Àbó kan jẹ́ tán lénìí náà ni. Àbó kan lò tán lénìí náà ni. Àwọn tá a fi ṣe subordinate yẹn. How do you treat them? Power is fleeting. Fame is fleeting. Money is fleeting. All these things they're not lasting in nature. Ayé iná la wà o. Àti rọ́mọ ọ̀dọ̀ tó jẹ́ pé òun ló tún wá gba ọmọ ọ̀gá ẹ̀ síṣẹ́ nínú ilé ayé yìí náà ni. Ó ró tọlá mọ́. Ipò tó ń gùn ẹ́ yẹn ò mà ní síbẹ̀ mọ́ lọ́la. Àjogún Ifá tó lóun ò fẹ́ kú. Ẹjọ́ ẹni tó gba Ifá lọ́wọ́ ẹ̀dá. èèyàn kan ló jókòó sórí àga yẹn lánàá, ó dìde ń bẹ̀ níwọ náà tó lè jókòó sí. Ààyè yẹn máa di tèèyàn kan lọ́la o. O ò bá ṣe jẹ́jẹ́, o ò bá lopò yẹn dáadáa. Kọ́ má tí ì ṣẹ́ torí o lówó lọ́wọ́, ẹ lọ kárùfù lé ẹ̀, kó àwọn èèyàn lọ pẹ̀lú àwọn tọ́ọ̀gì, ò fagbára hàn nìyẹn o, kárùfù lé ẹ̀. Kí ló ṣe tó ń jọ́ lójú? Màá kọ́ lọ́gbọ́n. Ó yá, ẹ gbé típà lọ, ẹ kó yẹ̀pẹ̀ lọ, kẹ́ lọ dí kànga ẹ̀. Já yẹ̀pẹ̀ wá dí kànga èèyàn pa. Torí o lágbára, torí o nípò, torí o lọ́lá, torí o lókìkí, torí o mọ̀yàn. I witnessed an incident when I was in Ilorin, and it stood with me up till today. Around 90, I think, between 97 and 90 and 99, I can't remember, 97, 99. I can't remember the precise year. So there's this man that has àwọn ilé story building yẹn. Níwájú ilé ẹ̀ ó ní kànga. Kànga yẹn gbogbo àwọn èèyàn wá máa ń pọnmi ńbẹ̀. Bàbá yẹn máa ń kanra, kò ń fẹ́ káwọn èèyàn wá pọnmi, máa ń lé wọn, máa ń ṣe everything. But eventually he died. Wọ́n dẹ̀ sin síwájú ìta yẹn náà. Kànga yẹn ò wá ní kọ́kọ́rọ́ mọ́, wọ́n ti ṣí lẹ̀. Everybody ló máa ń wá bẹ̀ wá pọnmi. So they were fetching water one day, and one little child ran out of the house and ran to the burial site of this man. Ó dẹ̀ ń pariwo, bàbá ó wá ń gbá burial ground yẹn, bàbá ẹ dìde, wọ́n ń pọnmi yín, bàbá ẹ dìde, wọ́n ń pọnmi yín. Only few people paid attention to the message tá a gba ẹnu ọmọ yẹn pass síta. I was there, mi ò pọnmi o. I was just sitting in front. But I picked that message. Ìgbà tó wà láàyè ló ní kó má pọnmi òun. Ṣóun ló lomi ni? Owó tó fi gbẹ́ kànga lásán ló ní. Òun kọ́ ló lomi. Ó lè lówó kó gbẹ́ kànga kó má kan omi. Ṣùgbọ́n olówó, ó gbẹ́ kànga, ó kan omi. Ó ṣiṣẹ́ fún. Ẹ̀bùn ni. Ṣùgbọ́n wá fi ń, ó fi sọra ẹ̀ di terror ládùúgbò. Ṣùgbọ́n nígbà tí ẹni tó yá ẹ lẹ́mìí tó gbà á, ẹ̀gbẹ́ ẹni tó jọ ẹ́ lójú yẹn gan náà ni wọ́n sin ẹ́ sí. O ò láṣẹ lórí ẹni tó ń pọnmi àbí ẹni tí ò pọnmi mọ́. Ọmọ yẹn ní bàbá ẹ dìde, wọ́n ń pọnmi yín. I used that experience to create one of my designs in the nostalgic collection of my silk scarf. I titled it Kànga Olóyè. For those who are familiar with my works, they will know what I'm talking about. It was that experience that I put in that artwork. This is how we carry legacy. This is how we write stories. Mi ò tán mọ́ bàbá yẹn o, mi ò mọ̀ rí o. Mi ò wà ń bẹ̀ nígbà tó ń sọ fáwọn èèyàn kan má pọnmi ẹ̀. Ṣùgbọ́n a ka ìtàn ẹ̀ ní ojú mi. Bàbá ẹ̀ dìde, wọ́n ń pọnmi yín. Kò lè dìde mọ́ o. Kò láṣẹ mọ́ lórí ẹni tó ń pọnmi àbẹ́ni tí ò lè pọnmi. So the resources we've given to you, how do you invest it? Are you investing it rightly such that in the end, it will add more gloss and glamour to your story? Or you are writing it, or you are using these resources in such a way that it will leave the bitter taste in the mouth of people, or in the ears of people, or in the heart of people who come across your story. And your decision making, be open to change. Because until life is taken from us, we will continue to learn new things. Until life is taken from us, you are not too old to change. So be very open to change. Don't be rigid. Don't be dogmatic. If you're heading in the wrong direction and you find out that, yes, wrong direction, it does not matter how long you've traveled. You cannot get to your destination by continuing in the wrong direction. Tí Sátánà bá ti sọ fún ẹ pọ́nà bí ni kò gbà tó bá ti ṣetán nìyẹn, wá bó ṣe máa padà. Sátánà gan máa recalibrate. But tó bá rò pé ó máa tọ ọ̀nà yẹn lọ pé wà wá débi tó ń lọ, o ò lè débi kankan. There's no speed in the wrong direction, in the wrong lane. Àwọn tó ń sáré yẹn wọ́n ti fàlà lane 1, lane 2, lane 3, lane 4. Kò bá jẹ́wọ́ ló kọ́kọ́ dé ibi cross finish tape yẹn. There's a camera monitoring your steps bó ṣe ń sáré. If at any point you step out of your track, they disqualify you. There's no speed in running in the wrong lane. Speed doesn't matter because you'll be disqualified at the end of it. So if you need to reshape your story, if you need to rewrite your story, do whatever change is required. Make whatever decision is required of you. Don't let change be something that is too hard for you. Remember, all that matters is that you are heading in the right direction. When change needs to be made, make it. When you need to rewrite something, rewrite it. When you need to start again, start again. You are not in competition with anybody. Kò sẹ́ni tó ń wò ó pé ta ló kọ́kọ́ parí, ta ló kọ́kọ́ débẹ̀. No! Ìgbà tó o bá parí ló parí. In tó matter ni wípé o parí dáadáa. That is what is important. And then the second part, so that is decisions. The second part is what I refer to as distractions. You must notice the distraction that keeps us away from, writing that befitting story. for our lives. And this world is full of it, full of distractions. Ọ̀pọ̀lọpọ̀ ń tà yàn, àṣelálulẹ̀ ayé, àdélé ayé tán ojú ń kán wa, àdélé ayé tán bẹ̀rẹ̀ sí wò fẹ̀tòfẹ̀tò kiri, and we have been sidelined from our purpose in life. And there are so many of them around. Àdà lé ayé. Possessions. Ó fẹ́ kí gbogbo ilé ayé jẹ́ tiẹ̀. O kápá ọ̀kánjúwà ẹ̀. Owó tó yẹ kó o fi sanwó àwọn òṣìṣẹ́ ẹ̀, o fi ń kọ́lé. Èyí tó bá sọ̀rọ̀, wàá fọlọ́pàá mú un. And you go deeper and deeper and deeper into this. Mo bi ẹ́ náà, ilé mélòó lo fẹ́ sùn lẹ́ẹ̀kan? Ò bá nílé 20 kó nílé 30. Inú ilé kan ló máa wà lẹ́ẹ̀kan, nínú yàrá kan lẹ́ẹ̀kan, lórí ibùsùn kan lẹ́ẹ̀kan, pẹ̀lú ẹ̀gbẹ́ kan tó fi sùn lẹ́ẹ̀kan. Ṣé yẹn ò tó ẹ̀kọ́ fún ẹ ni? What you need is just a roof over your head. That's all. Ilé 20, ilé 30, ó ń ṣàpẹẹrẹ wípé o ponú láyé. Ó ń ṣàpẹẹrẹ wípé o gbọ̀ lẹ́dàá. Gbogbo ohun tó wù kó o ní, ibí ló ti bá o. Ibí ló ti ṣàjọ. Ibí ló ti wúlò. Ibí náà ló fi gbogbo ẹ̀ sí. Tó bá bímọ tuntun, ó máa ń diwọ́ wálé ayé ni. Tó bá lawọ́ ẹ̀, kò sí nǹkan kan tí wọ́n ń bá nú ẹ̀ o. Òfo kò mú nǹkan kan wá. Ọjọ́ tó bá dẹ̀ máa dákẹ́ náà, wàá lawọ́lẹ̀ báyìí ni o. Ò ní mú nǹkan kan lọ. Olówó kan kú láìpẹ́, kì í wa mọ́tò míì ju Rolls Royce lọ. Wọ́n kó àwọn Rolls Royce yẹn náà wá síbi wékìpì ẹ̀. Kò dá nǹkan kan. Wọn ò bá sín pẹ̀lú ẹ̀, oúnjẹ kan ni. Àwọn tí ò mọ̀ bó ṣe kó jọ ló máa gun ọkọ̀ yẹn sìn. In fact, àwọn tó filẹ̀ fún gan, wọn ò ní lè maintain ẹ̀. Before you know it, nísìn, gbogbo àwọn Rolls Royce yẹn máa rí wọn tán ti godó. Ìyẹn ni pé wọ́n máa kó òkúta, wọ́n máa kó sábẹ́ wọn. Because ìwọ tó kó jọ náà ló lè maintain wọn. Ó dẹ̀ ti lọ bá àwọn tó filẹ̀ fún. Sáfíìsì, owó tó fi ń sáfíìsì Rolls Royce, ó tó ra ọkọ̀ míì. Sẹ́nétọ̀ kan tó mú láìpẹ́ yìí, tó wà lẹ́wọ̀n dìsìn, ó nílé bíi 40. Nígbà tí adájọ́ ń sẹ́ńtẹ̀ǹsì ẹ̀, ó sọ wípé as at last count, you have so number of houses across the world. In fact, wọ́n tún dárúkọ déètì ọjọ́ tó mú ṣé bíi £400,000 wá sínú àkáǹtì ẹ̀ ń bí. Síbẹ̀ ẹ ra odidi kidney èèyàn ní less than 1 million. Ẹ̀ńtẹ́ tó fún lówó gan, ó tún yọ ọ́nú ẹ̀. Ẹ̀dẹ̀ ń táwọn eléyìí bá kú, ẹni kí àwọn èèyàn kan wá máa sọ dáadáa ń pa wọn. Kí ló dé tá a ya ìkànnà? Kí ló dé tá a máa ń ròótọ́ tá a lè sọ? Gbogbo ilé tó níyẹn ń sìn ẹjọ́ ta ló ń sùn bẹ̀? Ó wà nù yàrá kan tí wọ́n tì mọ́, tó jẹ́ pé wíńdò ẹyọ kan ló ní. Inú yàrá yẹn náà ni tọ́ílẹ̀tì wà àti bẹ́ẹ̀dì. Wọ́n ń wo aago fún ni kó tó jáde, wọ́n ń wo aago fún ni kó tó wọlé. Wọ́n ń wo aago fún ni ìgbà tó máa róòrùn. Àádà ilé ayé. Ó pa àwọn kan lẹ́kún fi kó gbogbo yẹn jọ ni o. Lónìí ó dàbí òmùgọ̀. Bíbélì ṣe sọ pé bí àparò ṣe é sàbà sórí ẹyin tí kì í bá ṣòun lóye, ó ní bẹ́ẹ̀ ni ẹni tó fi ọ̀nà ẹ̀rú kórè jọ yóò fi sílẹ̀ ní agbede méjì ọjọ́ ayé ẹ̀, nígbẹ̀yìn yóò wá di olòṣì. I think Jeremiah 11:35. I'm not sure. That is number one distraction. Possessions. And we have talked about it on this platform before, in pursuit of happiness. The happiness is not in acquisitions. Happiness is in taking away, stripping yourself of those things that weigh you down. Therein lies happiness. Happiness is not in I want more, because you can never have enough. And sometimes in your pursuit of all this possession, you would have, to kill some people to have it. Don't bá fẹ́ filẹ̀ lẹ́rọ̀, wọ́n á filẹ̀ tipátipá. Wàá gbalẹ̀ onílẹ̀, wàá gbalẹ̀ onílé, wàá gbáyàwó oníyàwó. Wàá gbọ́mọ lọ́mọ. Gba business oní business. O dẹ̀ ní kó kankan lọ o. O dẹ̀ ní mú kankan lọ o. Àwọn kìíní dẹ̀ ń distract ẹ from your focus, from your purpose. Wọ́n distract ẹ from writing your story well. Wọ́n dẹ̀ jẹ́ o mọ̀ pé o ti ń kọ ìtàn burúkú nípa ara ẹ sílẹ̀ fún àwọn èèyàn tó ń bọ̀ wá kà. Olórí ìlú la fi ọ́ ṣe ni. Olórí àdúgbò la fi ọ́ ṣe ni. Gbogbo àwọn tẹ́ ẹ fi ń joyè, àwọn ìkà ìlú, àwọn olè, àwọn èèyàn ibi. Láyé àtijọ́ wọ́n ní ká tó fìyàn joyè nínú ìlú láti jẹ́ ni rere. Torí ẹni àwòkọ́ṣe la máa ń yàn fi ṣolórí. Ṣùgbọ́n ẹ wo ibi tá a báyé dé báyìí. Ṣé bá a ṣe báyé rèé? Ẹ wo ohun tá a sọ́dà. Money is another distraction. Èmi bí ẹnìkan, ẹni tí n bá ti rí wípé kò tí ì kọ́ńkà owó, mi ì lè bá ní anything ṣe pọ̀. Because the relationship I have with money is simply to settle obligations. Kí ní nǹkan tí owó tó yẹ pé owó lórí kwara láti kí n dẹ̀ fi lè ṣe, pay bills, buy myself things I want and things like that. That's all. That's all. It's man-made. Currency ayé ò bá tọ̀run mu. Gbogbo ń tẹ́ ń họ́dì, níbo lẹ̀ ń kó lọ. Owó wa ń ju sínú báàgì. Owó wa ń bàjẹ́, ń tán kọ́lé fowó, wọ́n ń tan AC sí. Ẹ ti ṣí èrè. You're distracted. Likewise, praise. Kó máa sa ẹ́, bàbá rere bàbá kẹ̀. Gbogbo àwọn tó fi yíra ẹ ká, there are people who cannot tell you the truth. There are people whose livelihood depend on you. Tó wọ́n lè sòótọ́. Ìgbà tó dẹ̀ ráwọn èèyàn tó lè bá ẹ sòótọ́ lára àwọn ló ṣe ń ṣorí burúkú kiri in public. Nǹkan tó yẹ kán ti pè ẹ́ ní kọ̀rọ̀ kó tó jáde. Pé Daddy, bẹ́ẹ̀ ṣe múra yóò wà òkè ibi tẹ́ ẹ dé. Wọ́n ní ìpéǹpéjú ni àlàáfíà. Fìlà tẹ́ ẹ dé yìí ó ti bo eyeball yín sá o. Wọ́n lè máa rò pé báyà nǹkan fẹ́ sí yín lára ni o. Wọ́n lè sọ. Because o lè lo sáàkì wọn. So wọ́n á ra dákẹ́. Wọ́n náà wá bọ́ síta. How do I look? Wọ́n ní bàbá ẹ̀wà àpajù. Ìwọ náà máa yan tẹ́kítẹ́kí bí áyán olóyún. Wọ́n dẹ̀ yín mú sí ẹ lẹ́yìn. Tiẹ̀ dẹ̀ ń bàjẹ́ lọ. You surround yourself with sycophants, with praise singers, people who only repeat yourself to yourself. People only repeat, your words to you. Nǹkan tó fẹ́ gbọ́, nǹkan tó ń rò lọ́kàn yẹn náà ni kó sọ padà fún ẹ. Ó fẹ́, you don't want a dissenting view or opinion. You just want yes men around you. Wàá máa rọ́tìkọ̀, wàá máa lọ́tìkọ̀, wàá rò ń pa ayé yẹ, ayé ò yẹ. All the stories of people we hear around on blogs, we read on, all these platforms. Báwo ló ṣe dẹ́ta? Àwọn èèyàn tó yí wọn ká náà ló wá sọ. Because they don't like them. They detest them, but they can't say it to their faces, so they go and sell the story out. They're genuine stories, they're authentic stories. So when you man gbọ́ pé from reliable source, insider ni. Àwọn tó gbára lé nìyẹn o. Àwọn tó gbára lé nìyẹn o. Tó bá dákẹ́ àwọn yẹn ló máa kọ́ sọ pé olórí burúkú ẹ̀, àkútúkú ẹ̀ lọ́nà ọ̀run. Wọ́n pretend bí ìpọ́n sunkún wọn dárú ẹ̀, ṣùgbọ́n nínú wọn, wọ́n bá gẹṣu nínú wọn kò lè kọsẹ̀. Ayé fàmílétè ń tutọ́. Life of debauchery. Nothing is bad in, living a comfortable life, but must not come at the expense of some other people. Àwọn kan ò gbọ́dọ̀ sunkún torí pé wọ́n fẹ́ rẹ́rìn-ín. Ìtàn burúkú ló ń kọ́ pa ẹ̀. And therefore, máa rò ní gbogbo ìgbà. If you want to, leave a positive legacy, you want to leave a story that people will read with fond memories, a story that will inspire other people, then you must ensure that you identify distractions around you. Distraction that can trip you. Àwọn nǹkan tó lè mú ẹ kọsẹ̀. You must be able to identify them and run away from them. Ìjẹkújẹ, ojú kòkòrò, ìwà lọ́nilọ́wọ́gbà, ìwà ìkà, ìmọ̀tara ẹni nìkan, àìṣòótọ́. These are distractions that will make the stories you are writing to have a sad ending. In the end, we will all become stories. And the way we live our lives daily determines the story we are writing about ourselves. So my charge to you, my friends, tonight is write well. And how do you write well? By living well. Thank you very much for listening to me tonight. This is what I have to share with you. Right. I need to make this public announcement. I know it's not going to be a good news, not going to be, the news you're waiting to hear, but, uh, it's life with a heavy heart. I am making this announcement that tonight's Jagbajantis will be the last episode. I need to take a break. This is not a decision I took um, um, very easily. It's one that I've been, considering for a while, and I thought, you know what, the time has come for me to, to take a break. It's look, I live for this. I live for this, and it's not going to be the end, right? But there's always a need to step back and refresh yourself. I have been running this show for the last 3 years consistently, and in 3 years I've only missed 2 Fridays, which was, when I went on holiday, and recently when I was in the process of relocation. So, starting from when Yeti's Kitchen was sponsoring the show, and that's a big shout out to Yeti's Kitchen for pushing me out, up to, um, up till now. But I thought, you know what, there are bigger things that one can move on to. But you need to have that mental space to be able to prepare yourself for other things. So this is not the end. It's just a break. There are several other things I've done before this, but I'm the kind of person that knows when to draw the curtain. I know when to, bring something to an end, and I don't always allow anything I'm involved in to exceed their time of relevance. But tó nírèsé bá lóun ò fín gbá mọ́, èyí tó ti fín ò lè parun. In 3 years, I'm not boasting. but there's really not much about life that we haven't touched, that we haven't discussed. Okay, so we have talked about enough to last many of us a lifetime. And the good thing is that these things are there. They are preserved. They are there on my YouTube. They are there on my Facebook. They are there on Twitter. They can't disappear. So you can always go back to them. Generations coming after us can still meet them up. So àti ṣe nǹkan má ní gbàgbé àti ṣe sílẹ̀. So whatever I decide to do next, I will let you know. As at now, I know I can't put my mind or hands on anything, but mo gbàdúrà pé àfinimọ̀nà àfimímọ̀nà. I want to thank every one of you for the ride, for coming with me, for joining me, listening to my ramblings every Friday. Mi ò fẹ́ dárúkọ èèyàn kankan because mi ò fẹ́ ṣe ẹnikẹ́ni. That's numerous people, people who send me stars here, people who, reach out to me behind the scene and, encourage me, people who, Baba, Efele ra Shinap. I thank every one of you. Even for those who didn't believe in me at the start, but who got converted at some point, I thank you. When you tell Mojumilo, better qualified than me, better speaker than me, they're low Jumilo, but you still come here and, contribute. Thank you very much for everything, for giving up your time to, support this. I appreciate every one of you. But like I said again, I'm still very much available. I'm still very much around. And for those who, reach out to me from time to time to run things through me, ask for advice and things like that, I am still very much available. Please feel free to contact me anytime for whatever, thing you need me for. Ètùmàrè á ṣọ́ pàdé gbogbo wa. We will always be around to witness ourselves do great and to do great things and achieve great success in life. Dúpẹ́ púpọ̀. Thank you very much. Ó dàárọ̀.
Ṣe jẹ́jẹ́, tíbi tí ẹ ládàlẹ̀ ayé, kò má ṣẹ̀dá tó bí ẹni kú káwọ́ ẹni tí ó ṣe dàrú ẹni. Ṣàṣà ènìyàn nífẹ̀ẹ́ ní lẹ́yìn tẹrú tọmọ nífẹ̀ẹ́ ní lójú ẹni. Ọmọ aráyé abániwọ̀nrọ̀ bá orí dání wọn. Ayé ò fẹ́ ní ìfọ̀rọ̀ orí ẹni ní pé kó yẹ ni. You gotta be strong cause the world is a battlefield. Òjò láyé ó gbé ní lọ bá ò bá mọ̀ wẹ̀. Má ṣe làlà òtọ́ láì bá dé. Tread softly dákun ṣe jẹ́jẹ́. Ilé ayé ogun ni ó gbọ̀gbọ́n. Ẹ̀sùn pẹ̀lẹ́ láyé gba ọ̀rẹ́. Ẹ jẹ́ ká má ṣe jẹ́jẹ́. Tíbi tirẹ̀ lábẹ́lẹ̀ ayé. Kò má ṣẹ̀dá tó mọ̀ ńlá. Ó jẹ́ ṣe jẹ́jẹ́ ọ̀rẹ́ mi o. Ayé gbẹ̀gẹ́. Inú ẹni ṣàlàmọ̀. A ò mẹ́ni tó fẹ́ ni. Ṣé rántí a ò mẹ́rin ìjọba ẹ̀wẹ̀kú ẹ̀wẹ̀lẹ̀. Àwọn lọ́tẹ̀ ni wọ́n dìde wọn lájànà kó lè rí inú gbọ́gbé. Àṣenìtàn bá ní ìdàrú ṣálọ̀ máa ráyé. Àwọ̀ fẹ́lẹ́ bòónù kò jẹ́ àríkùn wá ṣe bí. You gotta be wise to survive and keep your sanity. Ọjà ọ̀dájú ní ilé ayé o ní láti mọ̀ ọ́n rà. Àyàgbé ọ̀gẹ̀gẹ̀ tó bá ti lówó ọ̀yàn ń lọ wà lọ́jọ́ ogun dé. Ọwọ́ epo láyé ńlá wọ́n kì í lá tẹ̀jẹ̀. Alámù a ò mọ̀nú ẹ̀yìn ayé yẹ kó rọra ṣe ṣọ́ra ṣọ́ra. Ẹ̀sùn pẹ̀lẹ́ láyé gba ọ̀rẹ́. Ẹ jẹ́ ká má ṣe jẹ́jẹ́ o. Tíbi tirẹ̀ lábẹ́lẹ̀ ayé. Kò má ṣẹ̀dá tó mọ̀ ńlá. Ó jẹ́ ṣe jẹ́jẹ́ ọ̀rẹ́ mi o. Ayé gbẹ̀gẹ́ o. Inú ẹni ṣàlàmọ̀. A ò mẹ́ni tó fẹ́ ni. Ẹ̀sùn pẹ̀lẹ́ láyé gba ọ̀rẹ́. Ẹ jẹ́ ká má ṣe jẹ́jẹ́. Tíbi tirẹ̀ lábẹ́lẹ̀ ayé. Kò má ṣẹ̀dá tó mọ̀ ńlá. Ilẹ̀kùn bá jẹ́ ṣe jẹ́jẹ́ ọ̀rẹ́ mi o. Ayé gbẹ̀gẹ́. Inú ẹni ṣàlàmọ̀. A ò mẹ́ni tó fẹ́ ni. Ẹ̀sùn pẹ̀lẹ́ láyé gba ọ̀rẹ́. Ẹ jẹ́ ká má ṣe jẹ́jẹ́. Ọ̀rẹ́ mi tíbi tirẹ̀ lábẹ́lẹ̀ ayé. Àgbà tó ti ṣe tó mọ̀ ńlá. Yòókù lọ́gbọ́n. Ó jẹ́ ṣe jẹ́jẹ́ ọ̀rẹ́ mi o. Ayé gbẹ̀gẹ́. Inú ẹni ṣàlàmọ̀. A ò mẹ́ni tó fẹ́ ni.